The question we're asking now is, can we distinguish the patterns in the data? First of all, do we have enough data to distinguish the patterns? And are the features good enough to see a pattern? To do so, we will now visually inspect the patterns in the data. In fact, human beings are incredibly good at distinguishing patterns. In problems where we are trying to recognize patterns, it is often useful to visually inspect the data. Often it is not possible to look at the entire data set. In that case, take a subset of the data and take a look at scatter plots. When the data is multidimensional, this becomes difficult to do. However, sometimes it is useful to take a look at the data 2 dimensions at a time. Let's go to our IPython notebook and make some scatter plots. We had previously plotted a histogram of the intersampling times. Now let's make a scatter plot of the x and y coordinates of all the data. Depending on your computer, this might take a little while. However, at the end you would get a graph that looks like this. This is a simple scatter plot of x and y for all the data. This image, however, does not give us very much information about an individual's driving patterns. Moreover, you will see there are regions where the data is clustered around. What we will do here is look at the region between -1 and +1. Most of the data seems to be concentrated around in this region. In the next part of the code, we do exactly that. After we have the restricted regions, we want to make a scatter plot with the restrictions in place. Let's go ahead and run this part of the code. Again, depending on your computer, it might take a while to produce this plot. However, now you see that we are in a much different scale than we were before. We can see a lot more points distributed between -0.5 and 1. Next, we want to plot the location of each person on a separate plot. We want to see if the patterns of their locations are distinct. To do so, let's run this line of the code. Running the above line should give you graphs that look like this. We can try and scroll through the graph to see what each individual person's location patterns look like. In this case, we're looking at the location pattern of person A. We can try to scroll down to look at the location pattern of the other people in the data. This is the location pattern of person B, person C, D, E, F, and G. Notice for person E, the location patterns are clustered around 2 very disjoint points. In this case, we are certain the scaling will work to reveal to us a much better pattern in this region. In this part of the code, we're going to take the location of each person within the restricted region. We have run the code and we have the following scatter diagrams. Let's try to scroll down and look if the patterns for E are better. You see, by restricting the scale of the plot within a certain region, a pattern for the location of person E has emerged. We now have distinct location patterns we can use to build our model.